So Jade, we haven't spoken to you since Toulouse. How has it been being back at Carrington?
Very good. Today we've had the Manchester weather back, which has been delightful as always. A nice rainy day, but summer's treated us well, so we've had a great time in pre-season. Pre-season's been long, to be fair, and we're really looking forward to obviously the start of the season this week.
Yeah, I can imagine you are now just itching for the game to come round. It does feel like you guys have been back for a while, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It has been. 9 weeks is tough, to be fair, but obviously now we're over it. We've done it. We've completed with 0 injuries, which I think is a massive positive, and we're obviously all raring to go.
And how are you feeling? Because this is your first full pre-season with us. You signed in the January window last campaign. So how are you?
Yeah, really well, thank you. Pre-season's gone just as we planned, really. I didn't have as much off time as the rest, so I kind of did a pre-season, and then I've rolled into our normal pre-season training. So my schedule's looked a little bit differently, but I feel good, feel physically fit. Just need the minutes now, just need the season to start.
Got plenty of minutes away in France against real tough opposition, and that's where this club wants to be, isn't it? Playing against teams like that week in, week out.
Yeah, absolutely. Toulouse was a great experience. Obviously it hit us in a difficult period where we hadn't played many games, so obviously to go and put ourselves up against possibly 2 of the top teams in the world at that time in our pre-season really did take us out of our comfort zone. But I think it was something that we needed. There was great tests, many players got minutes, and we got 5 days away from Carrington. So when you're in the same place all the time, it can get a bit tedious. So to go away, travel to France with the team, do a bit of team bonding, I think it was perfect time and just what we all needed.
Lots of new faces, so I imagine that period is even more important, isn't it? Everyone gets away, you're together 24/7, and it's good for team bonding, team morale.
Yeah, absolutely. 5 days sometimes doesn't feel long enough, and sometimes it feels too long. So in Toulouse, I think 5 days was perfect. The international breaks have killed us a little bit with that team cohesion, because we had 5 days in Toulouse and then another week on top of that to try and get to know and try and cement some sort of playing philosophy going into the season with all the new faces, and then off they go again with international. So we build into this week with limited players, and 2 days before we get them all back.
Yeah, how challenging has that been? Because like you said, there's players that won't be returning to us till Thursday. Yeah. Our game is Saturday, we travel on the Friday. It's tough, isn't it? It's a real tough schedule this time.
Yeah, it's definitely tough, and it doesn't help obviously with so many new faces. But it's part and parcel of being an international footballer. So for the internationals, you kind of just keep rolling because you're getting games. It's more for the players that are left behind that get a little bit stuck, because you're like, we can't do so much tactical work because there's not that many players to do it. So you end up doing like sort of unit work or player specific work, which is really good for an individual side, but then obviously you don't get that team togetherness of actually playing minutes, which obviously come Sunday or Saturday this week, we're going to need. So it is difficult from that side of being left at home.
So where are we then in regards to preparation for Tottenham? You know, have we started analysing them, what to expect from them, and what do we expect from that Tottenham side this season?
We haven't started, and I don't think we'll do it until everyone's back, just because we'll end up going over the same things again. So manage our time effectively. But Spurs are a tough team, always have been. They did really well last year. They're going to be competitive. I think for me now, looking at this WSL, every team we go into is going to be competitive. It's going to be a cagey affair. If we run away with teams, then they've really not turned up, and we have on that day. So I think our mindset is the thing that's going to be challenged the most. There's going to be no easy games this season.
Yeah, it does feel like that, doesn't it? So many teams have really invested in their squads, as have we, and it feels like it can just be one moment that can win or lose you the game. Yeah,
absolutely, and that's the way I see this season looking. I think it's going to be the ones that stay resilient for the 90 minutes, stay mentally tough, but then obviously execute in the final third and be clinical, because I don't see a lot of teams giving up many opportunities this season. So it's going to be a tough affair, I think.
How important is it to be playing these games at the men's grounds for Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Saturday? How important is that for us as a team, for the women's game as a whole?
I think it just shows you the growth of the women's game. I think 11 years when it started, playing at the men's stadiums was so far-fetched. It was something that we could only have dreamt of. So to be doing it now this season, many teams are playing at their men's stadiums this season, which is fantastic. I think it shows how much people want to come and see it, but it also actually allows fans to come and see it. It doesn't, it doesn't stop a certain amount of people only being able to get through the gates. It opens it up. I think I've heard it's going to be a record sellout this Saturday, which for me is hopefully half of that's going to be new faces watching women's football, which is only going to grow the game.
And it's live on Sky, of course.
Absolutely.
And that does wonders, doesn't it? Like you said, fans can be at home who maybe haven't engaged in the game before or since the Euros are even more keen now to watch football, and it's right there for them.
Yeah, it's not even people at home. I think it's people in pubs that just go out on a Saturday afternoon, go and have a few drinks with their mates, and it's on there visibly, and they end up watching it because it's just on, it's accessible. And I think that's been the biggest word with women's football, is it's not being that accessible. Hopefully this season we're making it so much more accessible. It's going to drive the fans to come and watch it, and hopefully they're going to love it. Yeah,
and you've really been on a journey with this game, haven't you? You've seen how it started when you began and where it is now. How does it feel to be part of that, to now be part of a game that is everywhere?
Yeah, it's amazing, really. I think until you reflect as well, you don't really see how much the growth of the journey's been. It is frightening when I think about how, where I started and the stadiums I was playing at, if you could loosely call them stadiums. The quality of the game has, I think in 10 years, the quality of the game's just gone skyrocketed. So I think that only helps, and I think to be honest with you, it's the perfect time right now for women's football. We've got the backing, we've got the fans, we've got the support. The England girls have just gone and won a major tournament. Jump on it.
Just finally then, let's bring it back to the game itself on Saturday. Tottenham, as you said, will be a tough test. They've spent money, they've invested in their squad. How important is it for us to get a good, positive, strong start? Because down the line, those points can cost you, can't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Every game costs you when it comes back to haunt you. But starting the campaign off with a positive win, performance at least, just bodes well. Following on the weeks, you want momentum. That's one of the first things that you want when it comes to start the season. You want to start strong. You want to start with energy, and you want momentum. So as long as we can do that, come Saturday, I think we'll be all right going into the next few games.
Jade, thank you, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you very much.